What's up, meu povo? How's it going? So, my name is Está, and in today's video I want to share with you a little bit about my struggles even after I've been living in this country for over 4.5 years. And at the end of this video I'm gonna show you a video that I made for my exchange program, and I want to compare to you how's my English today and my English 4 years ago. Right now I'll probably be startling a little bit because I haven't got used to the camera yet, so I feel weird still. The good thing is when I made my video for the prep program, I didn't feel comfortable at all. So it's gonna be the same feeling, just different dates, right? So I hope with this video you're gonna understand that learning a language requires you like time and patience and dedication, and you won't learn a language for overnight, you know? So I hope you enjoy it.
I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing.
In this video, I am going to, without any script, talk to you only in English and try to show you how I have been improving over the past 4.5 years. So the only cuts that I'm gonna make in this video are when I'm thinking like you know, because I don't want the video to get too boring for you. So my point is I want to show you that even after 4 years, 5 years of learning a different language, we all struggle. We all gonna face challenge. We all gonna face things that we think would be like understanding and dealing better with, but not necessarily it happens the way we think it should be. So I'm gonna start telling you a little bit about my life. I'm 29 years old and I'm from Bahia, Salvador, and I've been living in the country in the United States for over 4.5 years now. And I first came here as an international student. Now, under an exchange program called Au Pair program. I've talked about this exchange program in one of my videos. I'm gonna put the card here on the top. And after 1.5 years of this exchange program, I decided to stay here in the country as an international student. So I changed my visa, and for the past 2.5 years, I always make this mistake, see? I've been living here as an international student, and I go to college and I'm trying to figure out my life. So you must be wondering why I'm speaking English, right? And the reason why is because I feel like we all have this misconception that after studying a language for like a few months, a few years, we're gonna be speaking as a native person, and that we're not gonna make mistakes anymore, that we're not gonna have challenges, we're not gonna struggle with the language, which it's a lie, you know? If someone tells you that, do not believe them, because everyone that is learning a language will have challenges to face. And even after we achieved our fluency, that doesn't mean that we have to stop studying, because the language, it's a process. The language takes time. Have you thought about when you're learning your native language, how long it took for you to absorb all the information, all the sounds, all the words and everything until you start like putting sentences together? Have you ever noticed like any kid talking about a certain topic when they're like 6 or 7 years old? If you ask a child about politics, they won't know what to talk about it because they have never studied about it. So the thing is, if I have to talk about a subject that I'm not used to it, so my thing is I'll ask them for a second and I'll say, hey, I don't really know about this topic, let me get back to you because I really need to search about this topic, and I need to search about vocabulary to be able to explain this better. So let's say you achieve a fluence. Let's say you've been living in a country for over 2 years now. You're able to survive, you're able to go to the store, you're able to even go to school, you're able to make friends, you're able to have a girlfriend, a boyfriend in here. So you can talk to them, you can have like conversations about regular conversations. But let's say you're gonna talk about something that you've never talked before. So what is gonna happen to you? You're probably gonna struggle. Why? Because you probably never read about it, you never study about it. So if you never like study a subject, so you have no vocabulary, you have no opinion. You might even have an opinion, but you won't be able to put it together because you have no, oh, there are some kids playing here. You have no vocabulary, you have no knowledge to put this information together. So what you're gonna do is use very basic information to talk about it. It's not a problem. If you can get by, that's okay. But if you want to be able to improve your language every day, you have to study, you have to keep studying, you have to read about it, you have to read the newspapers, magazines, and watch shows and watch movies. So that's how you're gonna be able to achieve a high level of fluence. Okay, so I decided to get back inside because although it's a really good day, it's really sunny and nice and pretty outside, it's hot as hell. Hi!
How you doing?
Good, we're at the pool?
Yeah, so nice.
Oh, nice. Did you go to the other pool or the?
I just went to this one right here.
Oh, good. I went surfing yesterday.
Oh yeah, where'd you go?
I went to Dana Point. It was so good. I mean,
Was it nice to get out there?
yeah, it was really good waves. I mean, it was pretty big actually. When I got there around 9, well, they were like too big. But around 10-ish, they started to get really good and crowded in there too.
It gets crowded. I was there today, it gets so crowded.
But
You went to Salt Creek, right?
no. South Creek is for like the pros.
Oh, where'd you go?
I went to Doheny.
Oh, Doheny? Okay.
Yeah. They're like where there's some camping's happening at a
Yeah,
beach.
yeah.
But
It's fun for like longboarding and just like relaxing.
yeah, I have a longboard, so I'm still learning.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah. What's fluence? Fluence is, in a language, means speaking easily, reasonably, quickly, and without having to stop and pausing a lot. Be comfortable about speaking, and you know enough without having to think too much about what you have to say next. So there's many levels of fluence, right? So the one that I've achieved right now, I would say is like intermediate or something, advanced, I don't know. It depends on the topic that I'm talking about, right? Like I said before. So here are the struggles that I still have, besides the fact that it's really hard for me to keep up with conversations about subjects that I'm not familiarized with. I tend to forget words and sentences and expressions in English, and sometimes in Portuguese too, because I feel like it happens because I don't read as much anymore. I mean, I read on a regular basis. I read things online. When I do research on Google, I always do it in English, but I feel like the fact that I'm not reading a book, magazines, as often as I used to be when I was learning the language, I feel like that contributes for my lack of vocabulary sometimes. Oh, something that happens very often is startling. I startle a lot when I'm not familiarized with the subject or the information that I've been given to. So what happened is, like, someone asked me a question, and instead of me like answering it like very like smooth, and I just start like, oh, I don't know, or you know, like I start like startling. So that happens quite a lot, and I think the main reason is that I don't study as much as I used to. I feel like in the beginning I was overwhelming myself with information. I was buying grammars, I was looking online, I was watching videos, I was researching information online, I was listening to music. I was doing a lot to absorb the language, and now that I'm more comfortable with, I feel like I don't study as much. I still have the habit of paying attention to things that I don't know. So if someone says a word that I'm not used to it, I'll ask them, hey, what is that? What did you just say? If like I don't know something and I am in a situation where I can stop the person and say, hey, I don't really know what that means. I kind of understood by the context, but I don't really know the word. So that I do quite a lot. I mean, I feel like I do all the time. Even with my girlfriend, we're talking and she's very patient to teach me and to correct me on things that are very like important for me to fix it. So every now and then I ask her like, hey, what does that mean? You know, because I don't know everything. Although I can have like really long conversations about many things, sometimes it's really hard for me to explain little things if I'm not familiarized with the subject. And also you have to be in mind every person has a different process, every person has a different experience with the language, so it all depends on how much exposure you have to the language. So I feel like I have a very structured, see, I don't remember right now, I'm gonna ask Google. Structured. I feel like I have a very structured grammar. So when I'm learning, when I'm reading, when I'm like paying attention to people talking to me, I'm always paying attention to their grammar. So that helps my English to really improve on that matter. However, for the listening part, sometimes I find myself like struggling to understand what people are saying. And it's not that I know less English or that it's more like about how much of information I'm like giving to my brain, how much I'm feeding my brain with different ways of talking, for example. So for that, I try to watch as much videos and shows and movies as I can, so that will help me to get familiarized. I feel like I'm saying that word wrong, but anyway. With different sounds. For example, my roommate, he's from New Zealand. I was going to say Australia, but that would get him probably offended. And he has a strong accent that it's not like I don't know English, it's just I'm not used to that sound of English. So sometimes it takes me a while to understand what he's trying to say. Sometimes it's a very simple word, but because it sounds so different than what I'm used to, it's hard for me to understand. So I just have to be patient with my process and understand what I'm struggling with, and what's my weakness and where I have to improve. And it'll be like that for you too. So just make sure to, if you want to really achieve a certain level of a language, of any language, just make sure like that you keep studying and keep like track of things that you don't know. Make sure to read as much as you can and never stop studying it, because knowledge is never less, it's never too much.
Hi host family, my name is Está, I'm 25 years old, I'm from Brazil, I really like to become your pet. I'm a really responsible person, flexible, and with a huge sense of integrity. I have more than 4,000 hours with kids, with experience with kids. I'm fun to qualify. My two last experience were 2 kids under 2, and it's really easy for me taking care of toddlers. But I have a lot of experience with teenagers and kids between 3 and 15 years old. I love kids. I love being around with them. I think it's really easy for me to talk, to play, and get along with them. It's a great opportunity for me to be with them, to learn with them, to teach my values for them. And I'm really respectful person, and I think it's one of my most important qualities that I can offer to them. I'm a very active person. I really like to be outside and practicing sports. My favorite one is called handball, and I played for 8 years in Brazil. I really like to walking. I like to biking, skateboarding, swim. I've swum since I was 7 years old, and I think it can be a really good choice for your family because it won't be difficult for me to play outside, to go to the playground, to play basketball and American football, whatever they like. And I think it's important for them at this age to be outside and in contact with other kids and developing their social skills. And I'm a good driver. I've never been in a car accident. Also, I'm a good cooker. I like to cook to my family, to my friends, and try different recipes. Maybe I can try to cook for you. And I love traveling and get to know different places. And I love to be with my family, with my friends, and hang out with them. They are really important for me, and they are a big support for me.
So as you can see, that video was recorded like 4 years ago when I had only 3 months living in the country. I had to make that video as a way of introduce myself to the families of the au pair program. So it was some kind of resume, you know, so they could know a little bit more about myself. They could understand a little bit more about my lifestyle and see my level of English, because unfortunately some families, they won't take you if you don't have certain level of fluency. And I was watching that video the other day and talking to my girlfriend about it. I showed her and I said, look at that, you know, like how my English has improved in the 4 years window, and how much I still have to improve, you know. I feel like in a few years when I look back at this video, I'll have like the same second-handed embarrassment just like I had for my other video, my first video like of 4 years ago. And that's okay. It means that I'm learning. It means that I have been improving my language, and that's a good thing, right? I hope you enjoyed the video today, and if you like this content, just make sure to hit the like button and subscribe and do all those things that all YouTubers ask you all the time. That's it for now. Bye.